Good morning, Parkside. Welcome to this week's encouragement video. Thanks for tuning in. I tell you, yesterday was a wildly encouraging day for me. I had the opportunity to be over at Cedarville University on their campus, and I want to tell you about three things that brought me great encouragement yesterday, and I really think all three are going to encourage you today as well. The first one is I got to hang out with our students. Actually, it was Monday night, we got ice cream together, and then Tuesday had some coffee together. And just to be with our students over there and see how God is using them, how their passions are being ignited in the classroom and by chapel, how they can use those for the glory of God. It is so cool to see kids that you've seen come through the church, be discipled, continue growing in their faith, spread their wings and fly. And I know some of them will be back for Christmas break. And so I just want to encourage you, Parkside, if you've invested in these kids for years and they're on their way back, wanting to use their gifts to serve God. And I encourage you to touch base with some of our college kids as they're home for Christmas break. That encouraged me greatly yesterday. Here's the second thing. I was able to speak in chapel, and then after chapel, I had lunch with some of their leadership. And the president of the university said to me, he said this: "We want our students, when they leave Cedarville, to go be part of church planting efforts around the city and cities of need. And we want to know, how can we get our students connected to church plants in Indianapolis?" And that was not the ask I was expecting. I thought he was going to be asking me about how can we get some funding going that way? How can we send them more students? And he's thinking our mission is to support the local church through getting students into some of these church plants. And so I'm excited about continuing to plan for how Parkside can become a church planting church again, and to have key partnerships with universities like Cedarville and others. I'm praising God for, and that was an encouragement to me just to hear another brother with a kingdom-minded thinking and drive to his institution. Here's the third thing that encouraged me yesterday at Cedarville. I had the chance to preach out of Genesis 28. Now, Genesis 28 is where Jacob is in kind of the middle of the wilderness. Things are not going well for him. We find him sleeping on a rock of all things. He's by himself, middle of nowhere. Things aren't going well. And God's grace breaks into his life, and he comes down in the ladder and says, "Jacob, I will be with you. I'll watch over you. I'll bless you." Jacob is not walking with God at this time, and his grace breaks in. And here's how that encourages me. Because this Christmas break, guys, there are people in our lives where we don't expect God's grace to break in. It may be family members you're going to see. It may be neighbors that you've not been able to have a major connection with. And I'm expecting God's grace to break in their lives, similar to how his grace broke in Jacob's life. And I'm simply going to ask you to do this. Will you pray that God's grace will break through in that person's life where you don't think it will? And will you take a step of obedience? Perhaps it's inviting them over for a meal. Maybe it's inviting them to our Christmas Eve service on the 24th. Or Christmas, I guess the morning service as well would be great there. I don't know what that step is, but I know that God's grace is always working in ways that are often not seen by us. And Genesis 28 encouraged me to that end, thinking about what's coming up here at Parkside through this Christmas season. Parkside, I love you. I am excited to be in Acts chapter 2 this Sunday, seeing renewal through the body of Christ. And I hope you'll make plans to join us. Have a great week. We'll see you Sunday.